Non-lieu, translating literally to non-places, is a concept constructed by French anthropologist Marc Auger in his book called Non-Places, Introduction to an Anthropology of Supermodernity. Non-places is used to refer to generic spaces which can be found all over the world. Places, unlike non-places, are relational to their surrounding environment. They are historical and concerned with people's individual and collective identities. So therefore, non-places are the opposite to this. They are disconnected from the surrounding history, culture, and identities. Non-places are often spaces like motorways, train stations, hotel rooms, shopping malls, and supermarkets. These spaces are absent of any personal significance and are often interchangeable. Non-places, since they are the loss of culture, do not enhance the humanities. The humanities, including the study of languages, literature, history, jurisprudence, philosophy, comparative religion, ethics, and the arts, are disciplines of memory and imagination, telling us where we have been and helping us envision where we are going. If we take into consideration what the contributors of The Heart of the Matter, a report of the American Academy's Commission on the Humanities and Social Sciences, says about the core characteristics of the humanities, we cannot conclude that non-places add something to the humanities. Throughout the course of this documentary, we have established that non-places lack context and can therefore be seen as a suspension of geography. Non-places are holes in the map and are created from the excess of the modern world. This excess of the modern world is the definition of supermodernity. In Marc Auger's book, where he discusses supermodernity, he examines three excesses of modernity. They are time, space, and individuality. Excess of time refers to the factual abundance which is associated with the increased speed of historical time. Excess of space is the contradictory result of the world shrinking as we are more connected to each other through the better transportation and digitalization. The last symptom of modernity is the excess of individuality, which is due to the loss of collectivity with the increased time we spend in solitude. Non-places are created from this excess which defines supermodernity. Museum exhibitions have the potential to be both places and non-places. A museum in the form of a historical building which showcases objects that relate to the history and culture of the surrounding environment can be considered a place. They represent the area's history and are often an attempt to represent the culture and identities of the people who are part of the local community. On the other hand, there are exhibitions which display objects against white walls in modern building interiors. The objects are often interchangeable and the space is not personal to the location or the people who live in the neighborhood. These exhibitions can take place anywhere at any place and therefore are non-places. With the digitalization of the world, non-places not only take on these physical forms, but they can also take on digital forms, such as the internet. The internet exists nowhere, physically, although it is encompassed by a virtual landscape which has a variety of sites like in the physical world. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many exhibitions have become digitalized. As Paul Valery predicted, just as water, gas, and electricity are brought into our houses from far off to satisfy our need in response to a minimal effort, so we shall be supplied with visual or auditory images, which will appear and disappear at a simple movement of the hand, hardly more than a sign. Museums are now offering virtual tours, which allows the viewer to navigate through their collections online. Online exhibitions take form as non-places. They, like the internet, literally have no place. These online exhibitions can be accessed from anywhere and are merely representations of the physical exhibitions. The digitalization of exhibitions has caused many historical places to become online non-places, as well as further emphasizing the non-place quality of modern exhibitions. These online exhibitions are not relational and do not have a historical connection to the viewer's surroundings. The experience of visiting an exhibition is lost. Instead of having to travel to the museum and making a day out of the experience, the exhibition has become accessible with a simple Google search. This ability to instantly transport oneself to any historic museum and peruse masterpieces and historic relics at leisure is due to a concept known as time-space compression. Time-space compression, coined by David Harvey, favors time taken to travel as a measure of distance, as do most of us, and not the scientifically created measures. This means that with the reduction in time taken to travel, we have actually shrunk the distance between the places. Online exhibitions as non-places are not connected to people's personal or connected identity. This ties in with Susan Greenfield's The Quest for Identity in the 21st Century, which discusses how digital culture leads to a disappearing of identity. This links to non-places because they themselves are disconnected to people's identity, which is even further emphasized through the digitalization of non-places, now accessible to anyone anywhere. With the digitalization of our culture, how can we trust Humanities to tell us where we have been and help us envision where we are going if our identities are disappearing? The humanities, being a set of disciplines that focuses on memory, imagination, and framing through the help of history, linguistics, philosophy, etc., does not gain anything from non-places. The atmosphere of the exhibition is not captured in the digital version, and the viewer is no longer immersed in the space, but rather has constant distractions around them, such as the pop-up notification from social media which blinks onto the screen while they are scrolling through an exhibition. While online exhibitions are often free, easily accessible, and provide a safe alternative during the pandemic, they cannot compete with physical museum experiences. We no longer experience the buildings and cities where these museums are located. Effective museums are often experiential and attempt to stimulate all of the viewer's senses. This cannot be translated well into an online exhibition. Colors, textures, and sound all lose quality when they are translated online. The digitalization of the exhibition has made culture portable, but not with all its context. Real-life museums and exhibitions are made to immerse the viewer in all its culture and history, but this is lost once they become digital non-places. Ultimately, if digital exhibitions are online suspensions of their respectful geographical locations, aren't we always walking through the windows of time?